So, N7 Day is over, and we're all still reeling from all the new information. So, here's a brief summary of the broad strokes of today's information dump. We hope you're as excited as we are. So before we begin, we'd like to apologise for any repetition or redundancy between our N7 Day news videos. It's a hectic time, and in our effort to get you all the news and all the information, some info will get mentioned more than once over a number of videos. So that being said, don't consider this a complete recounting of everything new that was learned. We may very well have missed a few things, so please let us know in the comments if that's the case. Before the trailer even dropped, we got our first bit of information. We've all been speculating as to who the voice actors behind the main characters we've gotten to know so far are, and while many had guessed the voice of the eldest Ryder, the father of the main protagonist, as Clancy Brown, we were surprised to learn that Scott and Sarah Ryder, the default names for the male and female protagonists respectively, are voiced by comparatively less prolific actors. Tom Taylorson and Frida Wolf's voices will be gracing our ears come next spring, and we're glad that BioWare are offering bigger jobs and opportunities to actors other than the usual roster. Taylorson was the voice of Octodad from the popular video game series, and Wolf has done a variety of work including that of a narrator in Civilization Beyond Earth and as Octodad's daughter. The trailer was spectacular, and it showed us quite a bit about the plot of Mass Effect Andromeda, and more of what is to come. It seems that one of the arcs, presumably the Hyperion, is attacked upon arrival in the new galaxy. Seems a bit reminiscent of another moment from the series that any casual fan would recognise in an instance. So beyond that, however, we've finally received definitive confirmation that the races will be fighting for survival and a place to live in a galaxy far away, pit against a race known to us only as the Ket, and perhaps even the Remnant, Andromeda's Prothean analogue. The Ket seem almost like collectors, and a shot of their foot soldiers and weaponry seem to emphasise that fact. Despite the hints that we will be fighting these unknown aliens, the appearance of an ethereal floating alien with a cartilage halo on his head indicates that they will perhaps not be the main antagonists in the end. This alien seems to use some kind of glowing restraints to keep Ryder and her crew down, which indicates that perhaps he may have ties to the Remnant. As things stand, it's still all a bit too murky to tell for sure, so the trailer also seems to put some emphasis on gravity and gravity manipulation. There's a scene where Ryder and the crew kick a rock into an artificial hole, only to see that the rock is captured by some kind of blue wisp and suspended. Later on, we see rocks floating around them in defiance on physics. The next shot is of a tower emitting those same blue wisps from earlier along with some red, perhaps indicated a connection there. It's early days yet, and we've only gotten hints, but the inclusion of these two scenes in an otherwise action-orientated trailer seems telling. Perhaps part of the plot will include this remnant gravity manipulation technology. We've also seen the beginning of the Andromeda Initiative orientation project on Mass Effect's website, which presents videos and information to the viewer as if they had just joined as a new recruit to the Andromeda Initiative. We're still working on a more thorough breakdown of what we can learn from that, but to be honest, it's actually quite a cool marketing push. What we want to know so far from that orientation is that the initiative was founded by a human woman by the name of Jyn Garson. Conceived about 10 years before the Mass Effect series, we're familiar with and launching in 2185, 1 year before the Reaper War. Mac Walters has said that Mass Effect Andromeda is a fresh start, and that it tests as well with people completely new to the franchise as those who have played the original trilogy, and one reason for that may be because there really isn't all that much connection after all. Up until now, many have assumed that the initiative was made in response to the Reaper threat, but now it's clear that that isn't the case. The initiative, it seems, was created for the sake of discovering more about the Andromeda galaxy, and if possible, to establish a trade route between the two galaxies. What this means for the game is that we will see no mention of Reapers, Collectors or Cerberus, and at a maximum only 1 or 2 lines about Shepard. This neatly dodges the question of Mass Effect 3's ending and how it will affect the sequel. And while we're happy that the writers have more creative freedom, we're also a bit sad to see that the galaxy we fell in love with is the first place is definitely never coming back. This has even more far-reaching consequences. It means that the Ark was created and launched in a time of imperfect strife and friction between many of the races. Any Krogan brought along, and we know there have been some, will suffer from the genophage, and any Quarians, if any, while devs on Twitter were quick to confirm the presence of Turians, they have remained tight-lipped about the Quarians. This is an imperfect snapshot of an imperfect galaxy, and we look forward to seeing old conflicts wrought anew in a galaxy far away. Perhaps one of the biggest things from today was not what we learned, but what we didn't learn. Everybody expected to see an official date of release for the hotly anticipated game today, but the trailer's end offered us only a non-committable spring 2017 release. What this means for the development is unsure, but it could be that the development team are trying to reserve for themselves the wiggle room for delays. As has been said before by EA and BioWare, they would not hesitate to delay the game for even months if it would improve quality of their game. We're glad to hear this, as they're not compromising on their standards to deliver early. As has been the trend with many games recently, and an unsure release date is a small price to pay for that assurance. So, I'm sure you're aware there are a lot of little details that were released that have not been mentioned yet in this video, so here's a quick summary for most of them. There will no longer be a power wheel in combat, but there will be powers hotkeyed into the gameplay. And there are no longer classes, as this has been replaced by optimal selection of which powers you want, so this means the power system and what powers you receive is not held against you from the start of the game. Planet exploration will occur in the Nomad ND1, which replaces the Mako. Some planets that you come to explore may even be too hard to explore at first due to super bosses being present. And it won't just be enemies that are going to be present when exploring, there will also be many other dangers for you to look out for. We now have 3 named squad mates, but one has been covered in the past. Now we have Liam, likely a human who is a police officer who joined the AI with Pathfinder, and also PB, who is the energetic Asari we have seen multiple times in trailers. Moving on to everyone's favourite topic, romances. There are going to be more romances in Andromeda than any other BioWare game. However, I should mention, not all will lead to an abrupt sex scene. Loading scenes on the Tempest are now non-existent, and multiplayer makes certain changes that will be announced in a different video. More news was stated in our N7 Day News video, so go check that out for more in-depth analysis on the news. So that's all we have for now. There are more details that we did leave out, but little ones. And also, if we put them in this video, we'd spend an hour just listing them off to you. But don't worry though, we have many other videos on the way dealing with the aftermath of this exciting day, and if that's not enough, well, get prepared for the gameplay premiere in December. Don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed, and if you are new to the channel, then a subscription would be appreciated also. Have a great day everyone, goodbye.